Welcome. My name is Lorenz. This is System Self. And today we're talking about fear of missing out, FOMO. If you have ever struggled with too many choices, maybe it's as simple as whether or not to go to a restaurant or a party, or maybe it's whether or not you should be dating a particular person, or maybe you're struggling between a job or business opportunity, and you have so many choices you just don't know what to pick. FOMO is all about being afraid that a decision you're going to make will somehow limit your experience. It's all about a fear of making the wrong decision. And at heart, FOMO is all about depending on something outside yourself for how you want to feel. Think about this for a second. How do you want to feel? Most likely, you want to feel happy and satisfied. And you want the choices you make to contribute to that feeling. And this is exactly where FOMO comes into play, because we begin to depend on the things outside of ourselves, right? That perfect dinner meal, or that perfect movie, or that perfect opportunity so that you can feel satisfied or happy or successful. And this is the challenge. This is the insidious nature of FOMO, because in a way, FOMO is life denying. It takes us out of what's there into a fear that we're missing out on something that could be better than what's there. And the experience of life happens right here, right now. It happens with what is there. It happens in the details. And very often the sense of satisfaction that we crave happens in being fully present to the subtle details all around us. In the Bhagavad Gita, there's a beautiful dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, where Krishna tells Arjuna that to the enlightened sage, there is no difference between a clod of earth and a piece of gold. Think about that for a second in the context of FOMO. There is no difference between a negative experience and a positive experience. The difference is in your quality of presence with that experience. And when you begin to take this kind of orientation, it can be very powerful, and it can actually help you transform the experiences you do have into the experiences that you want. About 2 decades ago, my first job out of college, I was selling real estate rentals in Boston. And at that time, I was very focused on quantity over quality. And within 2 months of churning through prospects as fast as I could, I was failing miserably. I wasn't making any money, and I was ready to quit. So I started studying sales and how to do a better job. What was I missing? One of the things that emerged was focusing on the customer experience and really delivering exceptional service. And this is exactly what I started doing. I went above and beyond for every single person I worked with. I forgot about anyone else I might work with and just focused on each person I was with and delivering the absolute best service that I could. And of course, as you can imagine, my sales transformed. I became the top selling agent in the office within 1 month. And this is a perfect example of flipping the script on FOMO. Instead of being worried that I was missing out on some potential future deal, I just focused on the clod of earth that was in front of me. Maybe this person said no initially, but I came back and I watered that clod of earth. I worked with it, and eventually that clod of earth actually turned into literally a piece of gold. This is a perfect metaphor for FOMO, because when we can work with the recognition of FOMO in our lives, when we can begin to become aware of that and choose to be more present with what's there, well, what's there is possibility. What's there is possibility, the possibility of what happens when we bring our complete and undivided attention to a situation, to all the little details, to working with them creatively to create the kind of future that we want. And this works at all levels. Maybe you go to a party and you realize all of a sudden, I might have been better off at that other party. But how can you transform that situation? How can you become the life of the party? And instead of looking for that party to somehow help you feel a particular way, you transform that situation. You bring your energy and light and attention to this situation, and you become the life of the party. Or maybe you're watching a bad movie and you realize that's okay. If you think back on the last 2-3 years of movies you watched, And what's the best movie you watched? You probably have to really think about that. But if I ask you, what's the worst movie you watched in the last 2 years? You'll probably remember. It's almost more memorable. It stands out. So if you can be watching a bad movie and all of a sudden realize, oh, this is a bad movie, but then just look at that situation as something to be remembered, something to be present with, transform your whole relationship to that situation. The same opportunity is available in any job, in any relationship. There's a way to learn from every situation. There's a way to get something and realize that no matter what an experience is giving you, that you have the power and control to have a relationship to that experience that ultimately is satisfying. And this is what it's all about. It's all about being satisfied and happy with your experience of life. One of the most powerful ways to work with FOMO is just to begin to recognize it. Is to begin to recognize that when it comes to anything where there is fear, the first step is acknowledging that fear and being with it. So if you find yourself struggling and anxious over a bunch of different choices, just recognize that fear and be with it. Be okay with it. Be okay with having a bad experience, right? This is the first step, is be okay with having a bad experience, because that's the first step to really empowering yourself to be okay with life no matter what it offers you. And if all of a sudden you find yourself in a choice that you've made and you realize, oh, I did make a bad choice, then bring a lot of awareness to that. Realize that, well, here I am. What can I do? How can I flip the script and transform the situation? How can I work with the resources that are in front of me and be resourceful in creating the kind of experience that I want to create? Because that's what's going to make you a Jedi superhero that can work with whatever life gives you to create a life of unlimited possibility and, most importantly, unlimited satisfaction. All right, my friends, thank you for watching. This is System Self, where we explore awareness in action. And my commitment to you is subtle insights that deliver significant results. Please share this video with a friend if you know anyone who happens to struggle with FOMO, which is probably most people in one way or another. Share this video with a friend, subscribe to the channel. I look forward to our conversations in the future. Much love.